democracy in Nigeria. Now, a state election is an important connecting bridge for us between the 2023 general election and the 2027 forthcoming general election. It's a connecting bridge. We want to focus on saying, first, has INEC learned anything from the general election, the failure? Is that going to be improvement because it's off-season? Off-season elections are elections that help you assess whether you see improvement in the human factor, in processes, in machinery, and in technology. Again, it tells us a story about what we could expect in 2027. Now, so end of the day, Abuja School looks at these atrocities in that election as barometers to measure the progress or lack of it in our journey towards credible elections that can overcome the growing tendency towards autocracy and instability in Nigeria. It is noteworthy that Abuja School has remained resolute in the belief that the survival of democracy in Nigeria and then the Nigerian state surviving depends on an electoral process that gives citizens assurance that voting can be a means of changing government. So the idea of democracy is that citizens can change the government, and because they can change government, then it means that incumbents will try to govern well, do their best to serve citizens. Now, where the electoral process can no longer guarantee change of government because that process has been hijacked, then the incentive structure in democracy that makes it perhaps more efficient and more acceptable than autocracy is lost. The real thing about democracy is, like Computer defined it and said, is that citizens can sack government and they go. If that is out, then the value is gone. So now, with the elections, when we had a press conference and we spoke about the deliberate way INEC manipulated and rigged the 23 election. This is not about APC or PDP, it's about INEC. They didn't do what they ought to do. They printed duplicate result sheets and announced that this has been verified by authoritatively with forensics in South Africa. So what the Abuja School is now expecting that this goes to the court, and therefore the court will take its time to reprimand and nullify everything that has done. Now, the base of judicial involvement in the election is that where the electoral manager truncates, violates the electoral process, the judiciary will reverse as an incentive. You see, everything about governance is around incentive. If the electoral manager goes roguish, as INEC goes from time to time, the redeeming feature is that the courts will nod their head so that they send a message that next time don't do it, it doesn't pay. Because if you do it, the court will knock you kwako, as we say in Nigeria, okay? But where the court legitimizes, validates that atrocity, it further sends a message that next time, do it, it pays.